welcome again to Mark on Track, where today we're going to be looking at Bachman's standard 4MT tank engine. This has been around for quite a while for Bachman standards. You see this on loads and loads of layouts. It's a really good runner. It's got a high amount of detail on it. So let's take a look inside it. If you cut there, then we'll do a close-up. Yeah.
Do you want to do the close-up after?
Yeah, that's what I want to do then.
Yeah. Well, are you going to carry on then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Bachman's 4MT, as you know, the 4MTs were built just after the war. They needed standardisation of lots of locomotives, particularly 4MTs, 5MTs and 9Fs, etc, etc. Now the great thing about a standard is that they're easy to repair, they're economical with coal and water, and they were a little bit easier to learn because not many people went into the railways after the war. So they needed to get newer people in by giving them something easy to learn. And a standard 4MT is not that hard to learn. Not that I've been on one, but other people have. But let's have a look inside Bachman's history of this class. It says here, the Class 4MT is one of the most popular of the standard classes. These adaptable mixed traffic 460s could go almost anywhere, and they had a longer working range than their tank engine counterpart. Their low axle load enabled them to be used over routes where the larger Class 5, their bigger brothers, couldn't go and were prohibited. The design originated from the Fairbairn LMS 264T, which is another one by Hornby. No, it's by Bachman's actually done that. There's the Fairbairn, which is the bigger brother of this. It's very heavy, don't drop it. The boiler involved the tank engine in being lightened in the barrel by 9 inches, keeping the same firebox dimensions. The use of a tender gave the fuel and water a longer journey. This particular model is one of many that were built at Brighton, Derby and Doncaster and Swindon. This particular model has on it a tiny nameplate which says Brighton, build date 1952-53. But let's have a look inside. So first, Bachman's great packaging. This comes off. No styrofoam. In the case, instructions. Icebox. Ouch slide. The first thing I should mention about this is the weight. This is really heavy. I mean, it's not heavy for me, but it's heavy if you're quite young holding this. So be very, very, very careful and don't try and drop it, because a lot of fine detail work on this and it will break very easily. This is DCC ready. There's space in here according to the instructions. You won't be able to see the instructions that clearly. There's space in here for an 8-pin DCC chip. So when you run it in, hour each direction, then change direction, hour each again, just to warm it up, you could slide in an 8-pin chip. Or if you're feeling confident, probably try and add in a sound chip. The buffers, again, are sprung. And unfortunately these are Bachman's plastic sprung buffers. Not as nice, but they're good. The couplings are NEM. This one here is NEM, and you can take it out, if I just say, like that. The front one does look NEM, but I don't think you can. I've given it a pull, but I don't want to pull any harder in case I break the vane or something, so I don't want to try that. It probably is NEM, but if you want to add, say, a real chain link coupling, you can, because there are 2 hooks here, each end, front and back. So if you wanted to do chain link coupling in 00, you can, which is something I'd like to do because it creates a nice closeness at the gap. The detail on this is really nice. You've got nice handrails here along the boiler. You can add footsteps here, which I think are in the box of bits, which are at home, not in this box. You can add the footsteps here. There are some here, well, there was one there, but it did break off. So again, the detail is very fine and can sometimes break off if you're not careful. So if you're going to add detail, try and be really, really, really careful when you start taking it in and out of the box. Or if you leave it permanently on the layout, just make sure you don't bump into it or knock it. The detail inside the cab, although it's very hard to see here from here, but there is detail, but not a lot. there is a seat, or just about a seat here on each side of the cab where the driver would sit, where the regulator is. The only thing is that it's not really as detailed as, say, Hornby stuff. Whereas you look inside the Hornby's big tank engine, you'll see a little bit more raised painted detail. But here it's just black. So you could probably take this apart, as the instructions show you can, and you could probably highlight some of the detail in there and add detail if you wish. There is space for crew. Of course, I've run out of Bachman crew, so I'll probably have to get some die-cast ones and have them painted, which is going to be fun. But you could fit quite a number of crew members here, because you could add 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. We could do a little bet, see how many you could fit in here, which would be quite fun to watch. Yes, it goes around quite a number of curves. There's no problem with this back bogie here. This goes around quite easy. The linkage is really good. You just need to oil it when it starts to squeak, but that's quite easy. You just oil a small drop here, here, and here, and here, and you should be fine. It's a really nice model with the nice detail here of the British Railways early emblem, and of course the nice printing of the locomotive's name, number plate. Yeah, keep thinking I'm working with schools classes. And if you wanted to change this, you can change this to any number you wish. There's a book on detailing locomotives where you can change the locomotive's number and destination, and shed code here, although this doesn't have a shed code, this is standard 4. And this one is the Brighton built version. It does say here on a very tiny thing, built, just make it out, 1952 Brighton Works. You won't be able to see it on the camera. The locomotive itself can haul quite a number of coaches. It's heavy enough to, and freight if you wanted to. It can go very fast in DC, and in DC it can be you could slow it right down so that you get the realistic motion of it moving along, shunting slowly or picking up speed, but it works just as well in DC. So let's have a look at it on the test track.
When you're ready, just start it off slow. Speed it up. Okay, and you can cut some of these together. I'll follow it. One way. Keep going round. Can you zoom in a little bit? Keep going.
Yeah, still going.
Yeah, that's how I managed to keep it in focus the whole way around.